Hey everybody, JuanMakes here. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to be taking a look at the brand new Sovol SV08. This is a Core XY floating gantry printer with a very large print bed of 350 by 350 by 345. This is Sovol's brand new entry, which is based on the Voron 2.4. Basically almost a direct clone. They have made this thing pretty easy to put together for the most part. There are some things you may struggle with here and there. I am currently having some issues with the Wi-Fi on this printer. I have not been able to get it to connect to my Wi-Fi at my house. Still working with Sovol to try to sort that out. Hopefully there is a solution to this that will be fairly easy. They were very quick to respond to me once I sent them a inquiry about a trouble ticket. They have touched base multiple times just within a matter of hours, so been very good about responding back and letting me know what's going on with the process. So first you're going to see me add in the Z supports here. These are the motors and the drive belts that move the gantry up and down. These were pretty straightforward. You do want to be careful on the bottom of the printer where the connectors and wiring for those motors are located, that you don't snag them or catch them. They're secured to the bottom with some tape, which seems to be pretty well adjusted so that you're not going to hit any of those, since the directions basically state that this is how you're going to assemble it. But everything's pretty straightforward in the directions. You do want to just double check and verify everything that you have going on there. And it is important to verify which screws you're putting in which place. They are labeled very well on the bags though, step 1, step 2, and so forth. I really didn't have any trouble finding the screws that belong to the places they went. I did have a little bit of a headache getting the floating gantry in during this process. It doesn't just line up super easily. You do have to kind of move things around, and the motors for the gantry adjustment, the Z offset belts and brackets, are tough to lift up and down. Those motors have a lot of tension to them, so you just want to. You can pull up on them a little bit. You're not going to hurt anything, but it definitely is something to be aware of, that they do require a little bit of that. You do want to be mindful during this entire process of not dropping the print head off of your printer. The cable and wiring are not the most ideal way to be run up there, but they do have to kind of sit on that base at all times while you're working on things. So just be mindful of that so you don't knock it onto the floor or damage the wiring or the print head in any way, shape, or form. So you'll see me kind of fight the gantry here a little bit. It did just take some wiggling and adjusting to get things kind of where they would finally slide into place. The most important part here is don't overstrain anything and don't over tighten your screws. I can't stress that enough. It's just plastic. It's just holding another piece of plastic to it. Yes, these printers vibrate a lot, but you do not want to over tighten these. You don't want to strip anything out, and you definitely don't want to cross thread anything. So just take your time. It will eventually fall into place. You will see me fight this for a little while. Just don't get discouraged. It is not the easiest part of this entire printer build, but I can promise you it does fit, it does work, and it will go together. Just be patient. Start very slowly. Just start everything threaded in. Once you start to feel some resistance, stop and move on to the next area. You may have to do some adjusting like you'll see me do here multiple times, turn things around to get a better angle and see what you got going on. I do recommend maybe pulling some of the wiring and stuff that is taped to the chassis. Pull some of the tape and move the wiring just so that you don't damage anything. You just want to be extra careful with that. There is the potential for some of those pieces to get caught just the way that they're taped into place. So just be mindful of that stuff. It's not a difficult process, but just take your time. You'll see me struggle with this for a while. I actually dropped a screw at some point or another and had to search around for it. So PSA to everybody, don't drop your screws. I just continued to fight with this for a little bit. I was getting a little bit frustrated, but I was able to manage to get it into place. Again, patience with these type of things, it will take you very far. So once I have this located here, you'll see me, there it went, it caught in, started to tighten everything down. I was feeling good about all this, went around and just double checked everything, made sure they were all tight. I definitely like the hex head drivers they give you with this. They are kind of a ball head, so they do have some flexibility with turning and adjusting and get some angles in there. I'm going to now I'm going to put on the filament runout sensor and spool holder. Not a huge fan of this spool holder on the very top of the printers. I just don't love this whole thing that seems to be regurgitated over and over with all these printers. I definitely think there's better ways to go about this. I understand trying to keep the footprint as minimal as possible, but this adds a significant amount of height to this printer that I don't know that I will keep it that way. I'll probably print something out to move the spool down, or even add a filament dry box potentially for this printer, as I plan to do some TPU and things with it. So we will see what happens here, but you'll see me just mounting the print head and adjusting all the wiring and trying to get everything. The other part and piece that I would recommend to everybody is to make sure the wiring for the print head before you attach everything is straightened out. You definitely want to make sure that this isn't twisted up. Again, the way it comes out of the box, these things are just kind of floating around in there. So definitely straighten out all your wiring so that you're able to run the cables and the wires where they need to go without any stress. They won't be getting snagged on things or twisted. Just seems to be something that over time could be potentially a problem if you're not careful. I'm going to go ahead and connect the PTFE tube here, get it connected up to the filament runout sensor. I do like the kind of direct line of sight from the spool directly through the sensor and into the print head. Seems like a really good, smooth filament path. I was able to load my filament into this very quickly. Didn't have any trouble like I did in the K1 and JuanMakes series printers. The filament runout sensor can be a little tricky in those sometimes, getting jammed up. But this seems to be pretty smooth. Everything went through pretty well and easy. Now you can just see I'm kind of moving wires around and getting things clicked into place, double checking all my connectors and everything that I have, making sure the wiring is secured in the back so that it's not dragging or getting caught on anything. And then I flipped over the printer to connect the Z motors. These are really straightforward. There are 4 connectors down here. They only go in one way, pretty much fail-proof. Just make sure you plug them in gently, push them in all the way so they're seated, and then just make sure the wiring is tucked out of the way. It's not going to get caught on anything when you flip the printer back over. In all honesty, overall setup on this printer was pretty easy. There are a few things that I would like to see different. Just a few little small things. The LED light up top is a great light. It provides a ton of light. I'm not a big fan of the connector up there. It was kind of a pain to get the very tiny connector into the socket. But once I was able to get it, again, started the printer, booted everything up, double-checked firmware, and ran some leveling, and here we are. And after 24 hours with the printer running, I've printed a few small models. Nothing very elaborate. My normal go-to is to go right to a print. I don't usually do benchies or things of that nature. I get that they're great for testing, but I like to just stress test my stuff and see what I come up with. I do have a few small things that I wish would have been different on this printer. Some sort of smart runout sensor with some sort of notification capability would have been great. I'm still having trouble with the Wi-Fi. Sovol has reached out and decided that they're going to escalate my situation. So hopefully we'll see a resolution in the next few days, or within the next week would be great, but we'll cross that bridge as it comes along. There's a couple of things with the printer that I do wish Sovol would have thought a little bit farther into. The kind of milk crate design at the bottom of the printer to me is just not aesthetically pleasing. It just looks cheap. And I think for something that they were going for here was to be fairly close to the Voron. I mean, it is a almost a direct clone of the Voron 2.4. I could have seen somewhere along the way where maybe they did something different. I would highly recommend the upgraded screen. The current screen on the printer is not horrible, but it's just not my favorite. I'm kind of over the dial-y, clicky stuff on my printers, and I do really prefer the touchscreens. It's just a quality of life thing for me. I really do like that with my printers. So something of that nature, and then some sort of app to be able to function and control it natively with the printer would be really great. Something similar to what Creality or even Bamboo has. Bamboo's is pretty flawless for the most part. There's always going to be some hiccups and some things that people don't like. I really do like the Bamboo Handy app. I'm able to stop prints and avoid objects that maybe aren't going as well as I would like them to. But again, it's just another one of those things. I can complain all day long about things, but overall, the quality of the print so far has been absolutely great. The printer itself leveled well. I did the bed mesh, went through the entire process of testing all those things, and it seems to be printing really well. It's been printing for basically 24 straight hours now. Cleared off the print bed this morning when I got up. Started another a little more complex of a model just to put a little stress and strain on some things and see where we end up. When I get home from work today, I will have a little bit more information as far as print quality and things, but so far it looks great. I would really like to see some sort of lighted nozzle or something of that nature. There just casts a lot of a shadow underneath the print head, which I'm not a huge fan of. But again, none of these are deal breakers that I think make the printer unusable. There's definitely some things that could be improved upon. And I'm sure with the open source and the awesome 3D printing community, there will be some really cool upgrades to this printer in a very short period of time. So I look forward to seeing all the really cool stuff. I will keep you guys informed on how my Sovol SV08 is coming along. And I'd like to say thank you to Sovol for reaching back out to me as quickly as they did when I had some issues. So that's hard to say, especially from a company that's overseas. You don't get that very often. So again, thank you, Sovol, for all your help. Hopefully we'll resolve this Wi-Fi issue in a timely manner and we won't have any headaches beyond that. So thank you guys so much for stopping in. If you're liking my content and you like videos like this, make sure you like, follow, and share my stuff so that you know when I go live. And remember, there are no failures, just new experiences.